Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls Online video with me, Sherman. Today guys, we're taking a look at the Vampire skill line. Just gonna go through the skills, the passives, and just kind of look about it. I'm gonna talk about it too, give my thoughts and opinions on it. I kind of did this, or was gonna do this in another video, but I figured I'd do it in one by itself. So here is the Vampire skill line. So, as you can see, we have some passives. You actually get the feed passive right out the door. And as you can see, it tells you what it does for you at the different stages. So at stage 1, Vampire, you get 10% health recovery, 5% flame damage, or bonus flame damage. Regular ability costs are 5% more. Vampire ability costs are minus 10%. Now, that's one thing that I did want to talk about, is this change that they put in here where we're going to have to pay this, our skills are going to cost more. I don't really like it, but I understand why they're doing it. Alright, next passive we have is Darkstalker. This one ignores movement speed penalty to sneak and decreases the time it takes to enter sneak, and this is at rank 1. And then we have our two other ranks. At max it's 50% reduced speed to go into sneak, and you get no penalty. So when you go into sneak, as you can see, you can still move at full speed with the Vampire. It's actually really cool. Alright, moving on. Strike from the Shadows. Now, while you are Vampire stage 2 or higher, when you leave sneak or invisibility or misform, your weapon and spell damage increases by 150 for 6 seconds. I actually like this. It'll be really good in PvP, and this is at max rank. It goes up by 300 for 6 seconds. This is actually really good in PvE as well, depending on how you play it. So I have to definitely take some looks into that. So a little bit more looks. Next we have Blood Ritual. This one allows you to infect another player every 7 days, and returning to the ritual site. Players infected with lycanthropy cannot be infected by vampirism, and vice versa. So, next one we have Undeath. This one reduces the damage taken by 15% based on your missing health, and if you actually do this, it actually goes up to 30%, and it's only at stage 3 or higher. So this one is actually really cool, in my opinion. It's nice to have this damage reduction with the Vampire, but it does not apply to just that. It also applies to fire damage, even though you get this 20% health damage increase to flame damage. It does reduce that as well, but just not by a larger margin, because you do get affected by fire by more. And then of course you have the Unnatural Movement, which reduces the cost of sprint by 25%. If you continuously sprint for 6 seconds, you automatically become invisible. So when you put ranks into this, it goes up to a maximum of, or the cooling time goes down, so I can go sprint, and it's supposed to make you go invisible, but it's not doing it. So really cool. So 1, 2, 3. I should be invisible, but I'm not. But when you come out of it, you get that 300 extra bonus weapon damage, which I think is really cool too. Okay, on to the skills. So everyone's seen a lot of this stuff, but here's we're going to just go ahead and click on this so we can get ready to see what each of these looks like. Get them unlocked. Now these are the base versions. So the base version of Eviscerate, rend an enemy dealing X amount of magic damage, deals up to 50% more damage based on your missing health. So it actually grows in damage. It is a Magicka-based ability, and it has a 5-meter range. The next ability we have is called Blood Frenzy. This one, basically, whenever you activate it and you toggle it on, and it does cost a lot of health. So if you don't have a large health pool, don't try to use this. I'm not kidding. If you don't have 27,000, 30,000 health, you are gonna die big time. So I learned this when I was testing with it, and it's pretty bad. but it does increase your weapon and spell damage by 630, and then while toggled, you cannot be healed or by anyone other than yourself. So then we have Vampiric Drain, siphon away your enemy vitality, dealing X amount of magic damage and healing for 23% of your missing health every second for 3 seconds. And then you have Mesmerize. Now this is a really cool one. This is something that I wish they would have put in under a Bard skill line. Would have been great. But subdue enemies in front of you and with your hateful or baleful gaze, stunning them for 5 seconds if they are facing your direction. The stun cannot be blocked, so it's actually quite powerful. And then you have the Mist form, of course, which dissolves you into a mist, reducing your incoming damage by 75% as long as you maintain the channel. Now this is magicka per second. So entering the Mist form removes and grants immunity to all disabling and immobilization effects, but cannot be healed, and your magicka recovery is disabled. And then, of course, we have the Blood Scion. This is the thing that transforms you into a Vampire Lord. And we'll get a little bit into this, but while transformed, your max health, magic, and stamina is increased by 10,000. You heal for 15% of all damage you deal, and you can see enemies through walls. Of course, they all have 2 morphs. Eviscerate has the Blood for Blood, which is actually the morph I like to use, because it does damage and it deals up to 100% more damage based on your missing health. Then you have Ethereal Burst, or Arterial Burst, which does the damage, deals up to 50% based on missing health. And then when this ability, while you're under 50% health, is always a critical strike. So it's actually quite powerful. But it's getting to that 50% health. Next, we have the Blood Frenzy. Blood Frenzy is really interesting because what this one does is the bonus and cost increase the longer it remains toggled on. So this one is kind of harsh with that, but you do get a bigger bonus of this. So every second the ability remains toggled on, increase the bonus and amount by 10% up to a maximum of 100%, but you would basically have to die almost to get that 100%. Then you have the Sated Fury, and this one, while it's toggled, or when you toggle this ability off, you heal yourself for a portion of health costs you spent. So, and it's not a very big one. Then we have the Vampiric Drain, of course. We have the Drain Vigor. This one returns a portion of your missing stamina. And then you have the Exhilarating Drain, which generates ultimate every second for 3 seconds while it's active. I actually like both of these because it gives you a new way to play around with the game, because there's going to be people out there that want to play stamina vampires. So this is something you can do where you can use Draining Vigor to get your missing stamina back and do magic damage. And then a healing for 23% of your missing health, and restoring 5% of your missing stamina every second for 3 seconds. So it's actually quite a good trade-off. Then you have, of course, that Exhilarating Drain, which is also pretty interesting with the ultimate generation. Then, of course, the Mesmerize has 2. It has the Hypnosis and the Stupefy. So Hypnosis is actually really interesting because it affects all enemies around you now. And then you have the Stupefy, which enemies are snared after the stun ends. So both of these are really interesting ones. I like the Hypnosis for the fact that it does the enemies around you. And last but not least is our ultimate, the Blood Scion morphs. You have Swarming Scion. Now this one does the bat swarm around you, and any damage you deal, it will heal you for a percentage, instantly healing. It'll heal you for a percentage of the damage it does, which isn't bad. Then, of course, we also have the Perfect Scion. Now, this is the one that a lot of people are probably going to go for, because at stage 4, you have none of the this turns you into a stage 5 vampire, which gives you none of the drawbacks of it being stage 4. So you basically lose all the negative effects. But it's only during the time that you have Perfect Scion up. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go down here. I'm going to get some ultimate gen going on. We're gonna get that going on here in a second. And I'm just going to do this so I can show you guys what the Blood Scion looks like, because it is pretty cool. But of course that comes down to a question of personal preference and everything. So, because in my opinion it looks like a rubber chicken, like a rubber toy. Okay, come on. Oh, you know what I should do? Let me do this. I'll switch to this. I'll come out of combat and I'll turn this one on to the invigorating drain, so I get the 4 ultimate every second for that. And then I'll go ahead and turn these on too, like blood for blood, so you can see the like full power of it, as you can see. And then we have the Blood Frenzy, Simmering Frenzy, and Sated Fury. This one is the one I'm going to use for this, and then we'll use the Hypnotize, and we'll go ahead and take the Blood Mist, where it deals the damage. Oops. Alright, so there we go. We're going to do this Invigorating Drain. As you can see, it's a small tick of health, but it's still pretty decent. So... Alright, so here's what the Blood Scion looks like when you transform. And that's what you look like transform. And it still gives you all the same skills you have on your toolbar. It's not. It's a lot like the Bone Goliath one. So, and you do get 10,000 more stats. So, but it only lasts for the duration, and that kind of sucks. So. But that is the Vampire skill line. Now I'm going to give my thoughts and opinion on it. Like I said, I was going to do... I like a lot of the changes. I do feel like the cost of some of these, like this, the different morphs of this, can really hamper on a player, especially if they're trying to hybridize their character. But it is a nice amount of magic and stamina you get, or weapon and spell damage you get. So I do like that. I also like the Blood Scion, but I do feel like what a lot of people said, have the perfect Scion, like have this be called Vampire Lord or whatever instead of Blood Scion, Vampire Lord. This one doesn't turn you into the Scion, instead it makes you the vampire. Then you have Perfect Scion, which turns, or the Blood Scion, which turns you into the demon creature. Then they have another one called the Swarming Bats, which is the Vampire Lord with the bats. If they would do that, I think that would be better, because then it gives us 2 different transformations. So, yeah. But that's the Vampire skill line. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing it and what it was like. This armor and stuff I'm wearing, this is what they give the new templates at level 80. Like, as soon as you make a character and you come in, they give you that armor look, so I just left it. So what you're seeing here is an unenhanced character. They have there is no enchantments except for the jewelry pieces that give me health. Everything else is base stats. So that's why you saw the damage so low and all that other stuff. But that's pretty much it for the vampire. And like I said, there are a few things I don't like. Like, I really don't care how the Scion looks. Honestly, I probably would use it every once in a while. But if you're playing like a Necromancer vampire, the Necromancer morph is better than the vampire one, because you get the same benefits either way, but the Necromancer can actually take advantage of that massive change. So it doesn't have negative consequences. So I really like it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Besides the health drain on the Sated Fury, I think it's a little too high. I think bringing it down to more like a 600, because otherwise you have to build for health recovery on a vampire now to actually gain some sort of sustainability to that pain that your character is going to go through. So But that's it. So that is the Vampire Lord. Hope you guys liked it. If you guys did, you guys know what's coming next. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can subscribe. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day. And this guy might see you in game. Bye.